Welcome you guys to my YouTube channel again. Today we are going to talk more about hair theory. In the last session, I hope you guys remember, we talked about the structure of the hair root, the structure of the hair and layers. The topic that we will be covering today is hair bonds and the physical properties of hair. Okay, there is a mechanical property of hair as well, which we will be covering in the next session. So today we are talking about hair bonds. Okay guys, when we say hair bonds, what would you normally generically understand? Well, you might have guessed right. Hair bonds are something which keeps your hair intact. It binds the hair. So every strand of hair contains hair bond and it keeps the hair tight in place. It keeps the hair intact. Okay, so there are 3 kinds of hair bonds. Okay guys, when we're talking about hair bonds, it is inside each strand of hair. It is not visible on the outside. These are the inner properties of hair. So when you look at one strand, you would not be able to see this. Okay, this is the hydrogen bond, this is the sulfur bond. No, these are the properties which are inside every strand of your hair. Yes, so when we say hair bonds, there are 3 kinds of hair bonds. The first is the hydrogen bond, the second is the salt bond, and third is the sulfur bond. It is as simple as that. There are 3 kinds of bonds in your hair: the hydrogen, the salt and sulfur bonds. So we come to the hydrogen and salt bond first, and it's very simple to understand. The bonds which are easily broken even with water are the hydrogen and the salt bond. These are the weaker bonds of your hair, but there are more of these bonds in your hair. It is more prevalent in your hair. That means the numbers of hydrogen and salt bonds are more in your hair, but these are the weaker bonds. So when you wash the hair, when you wash a client's hair, you break the bonds immediately. When you iron the hair, or when you blow dry the hair, or when you're crimping the hair, any temporary service that you do breaks the bond of these hair, breaks the hydrogen and the salt bond. So when you again wash the hair comes back to its normal shape, which means the bonds keep on changing. These are the temporary and the weaker bonds. And we coming to the sulfur bond. The sulfur bond, a stronger bond in your hair, but these are fewer in number. These are very less in your hair, but these are very strong. So when you're doing a permanent technical service on your client, like a smoothing, like perming, then you are breaking the sulfur bonds and you're changing the shape of the sulfur bonds. So this is how the hair works. When you're doing a temporary service, you're just breaking the hydrogen and the salt bond, and when you're doing a permanent service, you're changing the shape of the sulfur bonds. You're breaking the sulfur bonds and you're binding it again, and you change the shape. This is how the bonds of your hair work. Now moving forward, we talk about the physical properties of hair. Okay, so now when we talk about physical properties, it is nothing but the general appearance of a client's hair. So when you look at a client's hair, you come to know, oh, this hair is thick, or this hair is very thin, or it is rough, it is dry, it looks dry. So these are the physical properties of hair, yet there are a lot of criteria which we need to talk about. Okay, now when you decide what kind of hair the client is carrying, you have three criteria in it. How would you know what kind of hair the client has? So here there are three criteria in which you would be able to decide the kind of hair a client has. The first is the type or the shape of hair. The second would be the texture of the hair, how it feels. And third is the density of hair. I will repeat that to you again, by which you can decide the physical appearance of a hair. The first is the type or the shape of hair. The second is the texture of hair. And third is the density. Now we come to the first point, and that is the type or shape of hair. It is very simple, you guys. When you look at somebody's hair, you would come to know the type of hair that she or he has. It is either straight, wavy, or curly. So when we say type or the shape of hair, it is a straight hair, it is a wavy hair, or it is a curly hair. So it is very simple for you to decide these three things in the type or shape of hair. The second criteria that we had talked about was the texture of hair. Now, when we say texture, we have again three textures of hair. Do not get confused. The first one, when we said, is the physical appearance of hair is defined by three criteria. The first is the shape or type of hair, the texture of hair, and density of hair. In the texture of hair, in the type of hair you have straight, wavy, and curly. And in the texture again you have three kinds. That would be fine, medium, and thick. So how would you decide a hair is fine or medium or thick? You just look at the circumference of the hair. The circumference of the hair, the feel of the hair, when you look at it, when the circumference is very fine, very thin, very less circumference, then it is thin. And then the circumference is a little bigger, it is average, and then you have, that's the medium hair. And then if the circumference is more bigger than all of them, then it would be a thick hair. So in the texture of the hair, you just have fine hair, medium hair, and thick hair. Okay, now talking about the third criteria, that is the density of the hair. Okay, so when we say density of the hair, you do not go practically counting the hair on the head. It is for your knowledge. When you look at the hair, see density also, there are three kinds of density. It is sparse, it is average, and it is dense. So sparse hair, guys, has 100 to 150 hair fibers per square centimeter. This is only for your knowledge. You do not go practically counting the client's hair. So if you say this is square centimeter, this much is square centimeter, let's say this much, okay? So in this, you would on an average have, if you have 100 to 150 hair fibers, that means hair fibers is one strand. If you have 100 to 150 hair fibers in per square centimeter, that would be called sparse. That means the hair growth from the root is less. You have lesser hair. Okay, and then you have an average hair. In the same square centimeter, you would have 200 to 300 hair fibers per square centimeter. In the same area, if you have more hair, more than the sparse hair, 200 to 300 on an average would be called an average hair density, and then you have dense. In a dense hair, you would have, in that much, say around that much, you would have around 400 to 500 hair fiber per square centimeter. Yeah, so you do not count the hair, but on an average you would come to know, when you look if there is lesser hair growth from the root, then it is called, you have very less growth from the root. It is called sparse, 100 to 150 hair fibers. And then you have average, which is 200 to 300 hair fibers. And then you have dense hair, which would have 400 to 500 hair fibers per square centimeter. So guys, this is only for your knowledge. You do not tell this to the client, but then you can, this is for you to figure out what kind of hair the client has. Obviously you would do more consultation and the home regime and if they oil their hair, if they condition their hair, and how do they take care. There are a lot more things added to these for you to decide before you do any service for a client. These are the basics for you to know what kind of hair, what type of hair the client has. I hope this session is helpful for you. I will come out with more hair theory in the next session. So today we covered topics of hair bonds and the physical properties of hair. I will see if I can put down some notes for you in the same video. Rest, yes, we will talk about more hair theory in the next session. Bye bye, ciao.